Good day, everyone. My name is Teacher Lucky, and I am your discussant for today. Before we begin our discussion, please let me read the most essential learning competencies because we are going to travel to some of the Southeast Asian neighboring countries. And at the end of our trip, these are the expected learning outcomes. Number one, incorporates the design, form, and spirit of Southeast Asian artifacts and objects in one's creation, and create crafts that can be locally assembled with local materials guided by local traditional techniques. Before anything else, let's have first a simple exercise. I want you to determine whether if you have any knowledge about our lesson that we're going to discuss. Let's begin with number one. What country is considered as the home to the Art Deco Central Market, glittering Royal Palace, and the National Museum's historical and archaeological exhibit? Letter A, Cambodia. B, Philippines. C, Thailand. D, Vietnam. Time starts now. Time's up. The answer is letter A, Cambodia. Number 2. What do you call an enormous Buddhist temple complex located in northern Cambodia? Letter A, Angkor Wat. B, Dong Noi Cave. C, Luneta. D, Wat Po. Time starts now. Time's up. Very good. The answer is letter A, Angkor Wat. Number 3. The art of stone carving in Cambodia has a very long, fascinating history which goes back to the foundation of the Blanc Nation. Letter A, Ho Chi Minh. Letter B, Mer. Letter C, Siem Reap. Or letter D, Wat Po. Time starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is letter B, Mer. Very good. Number 4. What country is known for the tropical beaches, opulent royal palaces, ancient ruins, and ornate temples displaying figures of Buddha? Letter A, Cambodia. Letter B, Philippines. C, Thailand. D, Vietnam. Time starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is letter C, Thailand. Last question, number 5. What is the name of the famous Buddhist temple complex in the Pran Nakhon district, Bangkok, Thailand? Letter A, Angkor Wat. Letter B, Dong Noi Cave. C, Luneta. Or D, Wat Pho. Time starts now. Time's up. The correct answer is letter D, Wat Pho. Congratulations! For our next activity, I want to measure your learnings and skills that you understood from the previous lesson. Every country in Southeast Asia has its own unique arts and crafts. Now, give me one art and craft for each country, Cambodia and Thailand, and tell me how can it help the people to be more progressive and successful. Now, let's begin our trip. We are going to find out and analyze their different, exquisitely compelling, and delicate sculpture. Today, we're going to talk about 2 out of 11 countries in Southeast Asia, namely Cambodia. Cambodia is a home to the Art Deco Central Market, glittering Royal Palace, and the National Museum's historical and archaeological exhibits. Next is Thailand, known for tropical beaches, opulent royal palaces, ancient ruins, and ornate temples displaying figures of Buddha. But before we begin discussing each country, let's define first the meaning of sculpture. Sculpture is the action or art of making statues by carving or chiseling using wood or stone, by modeling using clay, or by casting using melted metal, in which hard or plastic materials are worked into three-dimensional art objects. The designs may be embodied in freestanding objects, in reliefs on surfaces, or in environments ranging from tableaus to contexts that envelope the spectator. These are the sample sculpture that you will see as we go along our trip. Let's start with the Kingdom of Wonder, Cambodia. For many thousands of years, the art of stone carving has flourished in Cambodia. Tourism in Cambodia is one of the most important sectors in Cambodia's economy. As I traveled with my friends in Cambodia last January 2019, I am fascinated on how they preserve their cultural heritage as well as their beautiful and stunning ruins of Angkor Wat. It is a must-see tourist spot in the country. From small statues to the breathtaking carvings found at Angkor Wat, this art medium has become one of the country's most cherished art forms. Stone carving has been both a passion and a livelihood for many Cambodian sculptors. The art of stone carving in Cambodia has a very long, fascinating history which goes back to the foundation of Khmer Nation. And the next country that we're going to visit is the amazing Thailand. Thailand is world famous for its sculpture that dates back 4,000 years ago. The most commonly used materials are wood, stone, ivory, clay, and various metals. The most notable sculptures are the Thai bronzes, famous for their originality and grace. As part of the Indochina tour I attended last year, Thailand is my favorite out of the 3 countries I visited: Cambodia, Vietnam, and Thailand. It may have so much similarities in the Philippines in terms of food, locals, weather, and beaches, but their culture is absolutely and undeniably different. Buddhism is the largest religion in Thailand, which is practiced by 95% of the population. That is why you can see temples and Buddha in every corner of the street. This famous sculpture in Wat Po in Bangkok, the reclining Buddha, is 46 meters long and 15 meters high. It is made of plaster on a brick core and finished in gold leaf. The feet are inlaid with mother of pearl. So that's it. Those are the 3 countries that has an amazing stories about their proud sculptures in different mediums like woods, metals, stones, bronzes, etc. If you have any questions, clarifications, or additional information, let you and your teacher discuss it in your e-classroom. Now, let's start creating interesting activity. Let's begin in making elephant out of soap by carving it. Why elephant? Because elephant is the official national animal of my favorite neighboring country, the amazing Thailand. What are the materials to be used in making this activity? First, you need soap, carving knife, parking knife, tweezers, elephant template, plastic eyes, toothpick, pin, craft glue, and beads or sequins. These are optional. Now that you have all the materials in making this activity, let's proceed to the procedures. First, choose a bar of soap. Any soap will work. However, a larger bar is easier to hold and gives more material to work with. Make sure you have a well-covered area to do your soap carving on. Second, choose a knife to use. Soap is fairly soft, so a sharp knife is not absolutely necessary. Plastic knives, spoon, or popsicle stick would also work. This is especially important to note to prevent any accident from using sharp knives. Third, draw an outline of your carving on both sides of the soap. You can either draw the outline first using a pencil or directly use a knife, orange wood stick, or toothpick to scrape the outline into the soap. Fourth, remove the soap outside the outline using small slivers or chips. Make sure to scrape away only small portions at a time, as it would be easier to remove than to put back an over-scraped portion. Cutting off too much would cause the soap to break off into chunks. Fifth, carving the different parts of the body. Using the carving knife, start forming the distinctive parts of the elephant, like the tusk, trunk, legs, tail, and ears. Last, number 6, add details to the inside of your outline to refine the design further. When the carving is finished, wet your finger and rub the surface of the soap to create a smooth finish. Allow it to dry and harden for a day. Tip: when the soap is cold and hard, warm it in a microwave for 10 to 15 seconds. Then the soap bar get a little soft. Optional: embellish the elephant. Glue the beads, rhinestones, or sequins. To learn more on how to carve a cute and stunning elephant out of soap, please visit this link. And if you want to print the elephant template, please also visit this link. Thank you. To check your artwork, these are the criteria or the rubric to be used in assessing your work. There are 3 categories. First, following directions. If the student follow the directions correctly, they will get a high score. Second, creativity and workmanship. If the student output is very creative and tidy, they will get a high score. Last, pattern. If the student's pattern of Southeast Asian culture is well defined and used from the beginning to end, they will get a high score. The highest possible score is 30 points, equivalent to 100 points. Assessing your activity shall come from 3 sources, namely the learner or the student, the parent, and the teacher. Now that you have identified the prominent places and artworks of Cambodia and Thailand, you also have been aware that art has to continue for many years to preserve the knowledge of how we live today for future generations. Let us now find out using this activity if you can apply your understanding to our own and possessed artwork in the Philippines. Cite 2 prominent sculptures in our country and tell us its significance in our culture and tradition. Arts play an important role in nurturing one's culture as it can easily let a person visualize the kind of culture a country has. For our next activity, give me at least 3 importance of art in our society and explain how it can help the community to be more progressive and successful. Note to the learners: write your answers in recap, wrap up, and valuing in a long band paper with your name, grade level and section, and date. All your activities will compile in a portfolio. This must be signed by your parents and shall be submitted to your teacher
before the end of the quarter.
Have fun! Good luck!